In a world painted with shades of blue and crimson, two kingdoms stood locked in a century-long war. The kingdom of Azure, known for its tranquil seas and wise rulers, and the kingdom of Crimson, famed for its fiery mountains and fierce warriors. For generations, they had known nothing but conflict, their histories written in the blood of their ancestors. But history, as we know, has a funny way of turning pages when we least expect it. Our story begins with Prince Alexander of Azure, a man whose heart was as deep and thoughtful as the oceans his people sailed. He was a diplomat, a scholar, and a leader who yearned for peace, even though he was trained for war. He believed that words could be mightier than swords, a belief that often put him at odds with his own generals. Across the border, in the heart of the Crimson Kingdom, lived Princess Isabella. She was as spirited and passionate as the volcanoes that dotted her homeland, a skilled archer and a brilliant strategist. Isabella was beloved by her people for her courage and her unwavering resolve. Yet, beneath that fiery exterior, she harbored a secret dream, a future where her people didn't have to fight to survive. The winds of fate began to shift during a high-stakes diplomatic mission. It was a last-ditch effort to broker a truce, held in the neutral Grey Marches, a land scarred by countless battles. The air was thick with tension, every word weighed, every glance scrutinized. Prince Alexander led the Azure delegation, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the simmering hostility in the room. Princess Isabella was there too, her presence a symbol of Crimson's unyielding strength. During a recess, seeking a moment of quiet, Alexander wandered into a secluded courtyard garden, and there, under the pale light of a struggling sun, he saw her. Isabella, away from the prying eyes of the court, was tending to a lone, resilient crimson rose that had somehow bloomed amidst the grey stone. He was captivated, not by the princess of an enemy nation, but by the woman who showed such tenderness to a single flower in a place devoid of life. He approached cautiously. "A stubborn thing, isn't it?" he said, his voice gentle. Isabella turned, her hand instinctively moving towards the dagger at her belt before she recognized him. "Beauty often thrives where it is least expected," she replied, her guard still up, but her eyes betraying a flicker of curiosity. That was their beginning. In that forgotten garden, they didn't see a prince and a princess of warring nations. They saw a kindred spirit. They talked for hours, not about treaties or borders, but about art, philosophy, and their shared dream of a peaceful world. They discovered a connection so profound, it defied 100 years of hatred. They fell in love, quickly, deeply, and dangerously. Their love became a secret whispered in the shadows. They arranged clandestine meetings in hidden groves and forgotten ruins along the contested borderlands. With every stolen kiss and every shared secret, their bond deepened. They were two halves of a whole, the calm sea and the passionate fire, finding balance in each other. Alexander taught Isabella the art of patience, while Isabella ignited in Alexander a fire to fight for the peace he so desperately wanted. But secrets, especially in times of war, have a way of unraveling. Their respective courts grew suspicious. Hardliners who thrived on conflict saw their secret romance not as a bridge to peace, but as the highest form of treason. Whispers turned into accusations. The brief hope for a truce shattered, and the drums of war began to beat louder than ever. The final blow came when a radical faction, determined to see the war continue, orchestrated an attack and framed the other kingdom. All diplomatic ties were severed. Full-scale war was declared. Alexander and Isabella were torn from each other, thrust back into their roles as enemies. Their last meeting was a heartbreaking farewell under a stormy sky, promising to find each other again, no matter what. The years that followed were a brutal, bloody testament to the futility of their kingdom's hatred. Alexander, now a reluctant commander, used his strategic mind to minimize casualties, always seeking a path to end the fighting. He fought with a heavy heart, his every victory feeling like a loss because it pushed Isabella further away. Isabella, too, led her forces with unmatched bravery, but her goal was different. She fought not for conquest, but to protect her people, to force a stalemate that would make peace the only viable option. In the quiet of her tent at night, she would trace the constellations, wondering if Alexander was looking at the same stars, his heart aching just as hers did. Both of them made immense sacrifices. They endured the loss of friends, the betrayal of allies, and the crushing weight of leadership in wartime. They resisted arranged marriages designed to forge new alliances, holding onto the sliver of hope that their love was not in vain. They were beacons of a different kind of strength, one rooted in love and the hope for a better future, even as the world around them burned. Finally, after years of relentless conflict, the war reached its breaking point. Both kingdoms were exhausted, their resources depleted, their people broken. The cost had become too high. It was then that Alexander and Isabella, now seasoned and respected leaders in their own right, seized their moment. Independently, they orchestrated events that forced their councils to see the truth. They exposed the lies and manipulations of those who had profited from the war, revealing the initial attack for the setup it was. With the truth laid bare, the foundation of hatred that had sustained the war for a century began to crumble. A ceasefire was called, and this time it held. The peace summit was held not in the sterile grey marches, but on the very bridge that now connected the two kingdoms. A bridge built by soldiers who had finally laid down their arms. And there, in the center of the bridge, they saw each other for the first time in years. The crowd of soldiers and citizens from both sides fell silent. Alexander, his face etched with the sorrows of war, but his eyes shining with the same love, walked towards her. Isabella, her fiery spirit, tempered by wisdom, but her heart still beating only for him, met him halfway. They didn't speak, they didn't need to. In the silent language of their shared gaze, they saw the years of pain, the longing, the unwavering love that had survived the inferno. They embraced, and in that embrace, a century of war dissolved. The cheers that erupted from both sides were not of victory, but of joy, of relief, of a new beginning. Prince Alexander of Azure and Princess Isabella of Crimson, the star-crossed lovers who were once enemies, became the architects of a new era. Their marriage was not just a union of two people in love. It was the symbol of two kingdoms choosing peace over war, unity over division. They ruled together, their strengths complementing each other perfectly, his wisdom and her passion. The sea and the fire, finally at peace. They proved that even in the darkest of times, love is not a weakness, but the most powerful force for change there is. Their story became a legend, a timeless reminder that hope can bloom even on the most scarred of battlefields. Thank you for watching this tale of love, war, and redemption. If you were moved by their story, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next epic adventure. Until next time.